Sunshine will try to return, though. High staying into the 40s tonight. Lows upper 20s to near 30. For Thursday, partly sunny. Highs back into the upper 40s. Colder tomorrow night. May see a late flurry with some patchy light snow possible Friday morning. Looking for your dream home? McBriar Realty can help. With decades of experience, they get big-time results with small-town values. Licensed for the tri-state area. Check McBriarRealty.com for their complete listings. And I'm Machine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Art Beat of Chattanooga, where art lives. We're really happy to be here today with my guest Lee Fritsch, and we'll talk about Lee and his endeavors in life. So thanks for joining us today. I'm Jillian Collins, your host, a local artist as well, and fell in love with Chattanooga about 4 years ago, stayed here, and this show is about art, Chattanooga, and what an amazing people and city we have here. And my attempt with the show is to pull together the arts community in every way possible as we reach out into the community with arts reaching into children's lives, talking about and in affecting society, how art reflects society, how it reflects a heart, and how it speaks to people. So there is just no bounds really to what we can talk about with art. And my guest Lee Fritsch here, I've known Lee for a couple of years now and met him through Alexian Village. And Lee is the curator of the ongoing art gallery at Alexian Village. So Lee, can you introduce yourself and give us a brief introduction of what you have going on at the Alexian Village? And then we'll also talk about some of your personal work, which is extensive and well known in this area, at least. So.
Okay. Well, at Alexian, the big thing with regard to the visual arts is we have a gallery that consists of 80 feet long and about 8 feet high of where we can hang paintings. It's gray, so it doesn't interfere with the colors and the painting and so forth. And last Wednesday, we put up 33 paintings of various kinds. We had 17 artists involved in 33 paintings, and we change that gallery out 5 times a year. So it's every 10 weeks or so.
So a very active community there at Alexian Village. And you teaching art and curating the gallery now, is this something, Lee, that the public is welcome to come and view this work? Is this publicly accessible?
Absolutely. All they have to do is come to Alexian and go down to the main entrance and ask to see the gallery, the art gallery. We call it the art wall. And it's up on the 3rd floor. It's a mezzanine. And it's up on the 3rd floor, and you just have to take the elevator or the stairs up and look at it.
Yeah, so there's some other it's a beautiful place, and there's some sort of arboretum room there too with plants on one of the main floor, I think. But the point that me having Lee here today was, I don't think I was aware, certainly not aware, that this senior community on Signal Mountain has all this going on with the arts, with teaching and painting and sharing their work. And so you, Lee, are the one that kind of put this and took over running the gallery. Was this being displayed before you, or did you initiate this gallery?
No. The gallery started about 10 years ago. And this was my 4th year. The guy that had it, charge of it before I did, had it for 5 years. And when I showed up at Alexian, we moved in there in 2010. Well, he was only too happy to pass it on to me if I would take it. And I did. And it was one of the best things I did at Alexian, because I got to know all the artists that are in the group. And I just counted them this morning, and there's about 27 people that paint or draw or do something in the visual arts. They don't all be in the show at once. Most shows, I have about 12 to 15 people, artists. We paint to various themes, and each show has 3 themes, which they decide on, and that's something else that's coming up very shortly. Is I need to have our annual meeting where the people who are the artists and anybody else that might be interested, we pick the dates and the themes for the next year's show.
So the themes are these paintings being done specific to the theme for the show, or is it if you have a piece in this category, it'll fit the show?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The thing is a challenge, more or less, but let's see.
A challenge to create new work. Is that like to be the theme? Is that to create an active flow of keeping the work going?
It could be. We make the themes as fuzzy as we can, so that people that find it difficult to paint to a particular subject, they still can get their work on the wall.
I like that, a fuzzy parameter of what's going to be in the show.
Well, for example, the last show that we had, one of the themes was artist choice.
Love it.
It was artist choice, and it was travel and trees or something like that. And so they get to pick them. And that's what we do. I think I'm going to have the meeting on about the 19th of this month.
Does anybody who's not a resident ever show, or this is strictly resident based?
For the most part, it's strictly resident based. You must be somehow associated with Alexian. There are a number of different ways that people get into Alexian. One is a life program where you buy in and you're there until you transition, as we say. And even if you run out of money, they'll keep you and take care of you until you transition. Some people are what we call live-at homes, and they live at home, but they are able to take advantage of, for example, the food service there, some of the health care and so forth. And we just about 4 years ago put up a $32 million state-of-the-art health service, which is essentially a hospital. And that's really, really nice up there. So some people are in that group. So we have independent living, and we have assisted living, and we have, full medical care.
Yeah, it's a great place and facility. It's a beautiful drive. It's a beautiful scenery from Alexian. Oh. You get a great meal if you go to the dining area. You can visit Lee when you go. But so let's talk really a little bit about your work, Lee. You're the curator there, and as you and I shared as we prepared for this, there's a ton of other things going on there, and we're not going to cover that today for time's sake, but there's alive and well and a lot of active things going on at Alexian too, in the arts, in just community, everything like that. But I'd like to talk a little bit about your work, and why don't we grab your piece, that the chef piece. And Lee has been painting plein air, open air, for years, and I know that's close to his heart. Now, is this an oil, Lee? Or is it acrylic?
This is the water-soluble oils.
Okay.
Which came to the fore about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, so that you don't have to use turpentine or any solvent other than just water.
Look how beautiful this is. I mean, this is a gorgeous painting. It's probably 16 by 20 or so. Beautifully done, bright colors, chefs working in the kitchen. For me, this is my type of art. I love the strokes. I love the color, the composition. How old is this piece, Lee?
About a year. Let me see, at the back is 15. I put serial numbers on my paintings.
15002.
Yeah, so it was the second painting that I did in 2015, and I'll tell the story of how it came about. Ever since I've been to Ruby Tuesdays, and they have those big murals up near the ceiling of chefs at work, I thought to myself, I'd really like to try that. And I had the chance when Alexian, which they have a regular commercial size kitchen there because they feed about 400 people a day, and with a very widely, very varied menu. And it just so happened that about 2 or 3 years ago, they completely changed that kitchen out and put new equipment in it. So I managed to get a sweet talk a couple of people and get access to the kitchen after it was finished. And I went around and took a whole pile of photographs, digital photographs, so that I would have the background for what was coming next. And then a year after that, we had a cooking contest in the dining room. And I went up there one day, and here's 3 stations with tables and all kinds of cooking stuff on racks behind them. And this is now, it's in the dining room. It's not in the kitchen.
This picture is in the dining room?
Yep. The people are
but
in
you
the
superimposed
the chefs are in the
I
dining
see.
room. Yeah. And what they had was there were 3 stations. Each station had 2 chefs, and they all got the same amount of raw materials and the same raw materials, and their job was in 30 minutes to put something together, which would then be judged by some sort of a master chef or something, and they were awarded. So I knew that that was coming, and when it came, I was up there with my camera shooting pictures like crazy so that I could get a lot of pictures of chefs. And then sometime after that, I put the 2 together into painting and painted the background, which was, from photographs a year before the chefs. And then the chefs, I liked the way those 2 were kind of really involved with their work down at their hands. And that was a fun painting to do.
It looks fun, and it's lovely. The colors, the textures, the contrast. It's truly a beautiful piece, and it's for sale, right? I saw a price on the back of there, $850. So
Well,
this beautiful piece. Now he's like, maybe I won't sell it, right?
Yeah, I like to live with my paintings for a little bit of time.
I get that.
And then I produce something that I get more in love with again, and I will sell this painting eventually. I will take photographs of it so that I have a record, but that one took me quite a while to do. And there's an awful lot of suggested detail down in the foreground of it. That was fun to do.
I love the pot in the background and the fire.
pot in the background.
I think it's hysterical, Lee, because I just moved again, and I had my work was not around me for a few weeks. And as I put my work up, I felt more and more energy and more creative flow. And when you're saying, well, it's not actually for sale, that just cracks me up because it's so hard to part with our babies.
Yeah.
You know,
there is that problem, especially if you struggled with the painting. I think that one took me about 4 or 5 days to do.
Well, that's I probably couldn't pull that off that quickly, but you are a skilled artist that's been at this for years. I've been at it for years as well, but I
started to paint. Let's see, I was out of high school and in college about 2 years, so that would be about 1955.
Well, I wasn't born yet, so that time doesn't count.
Yeah. Well, yes, and I was getting ready to go to Penn State to study for chemical engineering degree. And I just happened to run into a professional artist. My wife and I were out by a nice mill and spillway and so forth, waterfall and a mill wheel in Pennsylvania. And just having a picnic there and chilling out. And here comes this guy with a big canvas. All he has on is swimming trunks. He looks like a professional wrestler, big, brawny, and as brown as a nut. And he sets up right next to us under a tree, and with a canvas probably about 1 foot by 2 feet or something like that, and proceeds to paint an oil painting of that scene. And it looked like so much fun to me that I mustered up the courage to go over and talk to him for a few minutes. And I did. And he was kind enough to talk to me. And what he didn't realize was at that time, he just changed my life. It was one of those forks in the road, like Yogi Berra said, you know, that catcher. If you see a fork in the road, take it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I asked him, I said, you know, I'm going to school. I don't have a lot of extra money, but what would, if a person wanted to try this and not get too much involved, what do you suggest I buy? And so he told me, you know, a couple of canvases, 3 colors is all you need, a couple of tubes of paint, and about 3 or 4 brushes. And that was it. And the next day, I bought that stuff, and I've been painting ever since.
That's really a neat story, Lee, the introduction to the heart of painting. So prior to that, you really didn't have an interest, or you hadn't created artwork?
No, I hadn't created artwork except to draw pictures while I was in grade school classes.
That's amazing, you know. And how old were you then? You said 1950. Oh, that doesn't matter. 55.
Well, that would be about 21, 22.
So major transition early in life, and you've had time to pursue this, even though you have had a full-time career and full-time life. But I've seen you active in the community with the drawing class also in Hickson. That happens at the center there.
That's the.
You could share that class with everybody. We've got a few minutes left, so let's cover that. How about your website for people to go and see your artwork online?
Okay, it's www.leefritch, that's Leef as in Foxtrot, RITCH @AOL.com. And there's probably about 60 paintings, both watercolors and oils, possibly a pastel or 2. A lot of it done outdoors. So if you want to see the type of thing I do, there's 3 galleries in there. One is oils, one is watercolors, and one is just a sort of a biography. So I would suggest you go to the watercolor one. I'd like to, if we had time to do it, I'd like to continue just real quick as to how it changed my life.
All right, that's great.
Okay. So I went ahead after this guy, and his name was Bill Baylor. He was from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And many, many years later, my dad was visiting, Bill Baylor's wife was visiting my dad in a nearby town, and I found out about it. And I said to my dad, I said, you know, he changed my life, and I would like to tell him that he did that. So I got his address, Bill Baylor's address, and I wrote to him. And this was maybe 15 years after I had seen him.
Wow.
And I wrote to him, and I told him that you probably don't realize it, but you literally changed my life. And his wife wrote back. He said, well, Bill had a stroke, and he couldn't read, but I read the letter to him. And he was very pleased to be able to hear that. So that's a very interesting story, because had I not met him, I don't know if I ever would have become a serious artist. And I became pretty serious at it.
Yeah, definitely. You have work. You've had shows, and you've been in shows all over Chattanooga. Have you gone beyond Chattanooga?
Well, I was in one at let's see, where is that? Where the Grand Teton Mountains are?
Boy, geography lesson.
Well, it's Arizona.
Okay, so
Colorado, that four country. When I was fortunate enough, after working as a chemical engineer for GE and Borg Warner, I was fortunate enough to be offered retirement at age 57, and so I took it.
Yeah, right. Take the money and run.
I took the money because I knew that I'm not going to have any problem falling back on something to keep me busy. And I have to be busy. So, but while I was working, I was doing 100 paintings a year and selling them. And so anyway, I took it. We gonna travel. So we wound up traveling to the Southwest. We would go out there for 3-4 weeks, live in a casino because they always had some place she could eat and sleep. And then we'd go out into the wilderness and paint plein air. Paint in the morning, and in the afternoon we'd hike to a spot where the next painting we could do.
So she's an artist too, your wife?
No, she's an artist support group.
Okay.
My wife just loves to read and she likes to hike and all that stuff. So we worked that out, but she just loved to go. And
that's amazing.
So I did a lot of painting like that for years and years. And
plein air is a whole nother type you get a whole nother look when you paint plein air like that. It's just a faster application. You allow your paints to express without bothering or worrying over them. And it seems like the lighting and just things that you get from plein air are so amazing. I really encourage you to take a look at Lee's work. Lee Fritsch. If you just Google Lee Fritsch, you're going to find a link to Lee's website. And also I encourage you to go visit the gallery at Lexian Village because it's lovely. And say hi to people when you're there. There's a lot of great people there. Look up Lee and harass him a little bit so he can take it. He can take it. So, well, thank you so much for joining us, Lee. And thanks for joining me, Jill Collins, on the Art Beat of Chattanooga. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Go out to First Friday. It's happening all over Chattanooga this week. Visit the galleries, meet the artists, have a little wine and crackers, cheese and crackers. So, love you guys. Have a great day.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
There's a reason why Alliance Physical Therapy is a choice of professionals and those who care about first-class, top-notch service and treatment. Because at Alliance Physical Therapy of Chattanooga, we don't just treat the symptoms in your body. Whether you're suffering from stiffness, muscle spasms, back pain, chronic headaches every day, stress of life demanding more and more of you, Alliance Physical Therapy takes a holistic approach to healing, mind, body, and soul. Alliance Physical Therapy with a location near you and 9 others in the Chattanooga area. If you don't have a doctor or if your physician's plan for chronic pain is not working, Alliance Physical Therapy will help. Visit Alliance Physical Therapy on the web at nopainpt.com. That's nopainpt.com. Alliance Physical Therapy.
Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at sabrinarealty.com.
Our house in the middle of our street.
What? Oh no, I can't believe my phone screen is cracked. I cracked it. I can't believe my screen is cracked. I need my phone.
Whoa. Slow down, wild man. We've got an easy solution. Cell Surgeon in Ottawa. Your cell phone repair doctor is on the job. Cell Surgeon in Ottawa. Check out our brand new location. Just off I-75, Old Lee Highway next to Zaxby's. That's right, your cell doctor in Ottawa, Cell Surgeon, most of the time can fix your smartphone on the spot. Your cell phone repair doctor is on the job. Cell Surgeon in Ottawa. Check out our brand new location. Just off I-75, Old Lee Highway next to Zaxby's. Cell Surgeon for all your cell needs. Most repairs are performed in less than an hour. TheCellSurgeon.com. Go to TheCellSurgeon.com.
Daisy, get my cell phone out of your mouth right now.
Is your career taking you where you want to go? If not, talk to Covenant Group Insurance, especially if you like helping people. Call and learn how you can work for yourself, but not by yourself. Intense but free training, plus a fantastic lead program, plus office support equals your success, your prosperity. Gross at least $75,000 your first year selling insurance. Call Steve or Jada for a confidential interview. That's 855-8484. Maybe the most important call you'll make all year.
Wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal.
Now you can listen to Hot News Talk Radio anywhere, streaming live at Noogaradio.com. That's Noogaradio.com.
Hot News Talk 1240. You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
It's that breezy and cooler weather out there through your afternoon. A little sunshine will try to return, though. High staying into the 40s tonight. Lows upper 20s to near 30. For Thursday, partly sunny. Highs back into the upper 40s. Colder tomorrow night. May see a late flurry with some patchy light snow possible Friday morning. Looking for your dream home? McBriar Realty can help. With decades of experience, they get big-time results with small-town values. Licensed for the tri-state area. Check McBriarRealty.com for their complete listings. And I'm Smorsheen 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Downtown Chattanooga's home for news, talk, and sports. Nooga Radio 101.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Art Beat of Chattanooga. I'm Jillian Collins, your host, and we just had a great first segment with Lee Fritch, local artist from Alexian Village. He's the curator there. So we really enjoyed that, sharing about our seniors here in this community who are alive and active. And Lee was saying the average age of the artists in the show up there is literally 86 years old. And this work is gorgeous. You know, you would never know it was a senior, just like sometimes we put artists in a box and say we're hippies or something like that. As Lee was an not electrical engineer, but a chemical engineer. And, you know, also an amazing artist and running a gallery up on Alexian Village, you know, every 5 times a year, changing the work up. And again, it's public. You can go see this work at Alexian Village. So, you know, I encourage that. And we're going to share some more about what's going on up there with our beloved seniors in this community. Signal Mountains, you know, a sister to Chattanooga, and all the surrounding areas have arts going on. And it's really exciting. And a lot of times I promote our youth, you know, because I've met so many amazing young people. They probably don't consider themselves young, but compared, you know, but up and coming artists who are just out of college or, you know, not even 30, and they're committed, dedicated, and reaching out into the community with the arts to reach people, to help the needy, to work with children, to bring light to the darkness, you know, doing puppet shows and making puppets with kids, and the Flashlight Theater and all these other things. Heart Gallery continually giving to this community through providing lessons and classes and a gallery full of work from people who are challenged in this life in many ways, from seniors to disabled, blind, deaf, veterans, and people who are recovering from addictions, this sort of thing. So it's all over Chattanooga. And, you know, as the host of this show, The Art Beat of Chattanooga, I desire to draw together and invite artists and musicians and theater actors to come on this show and share what you have going on in Chattanooga, because it's just going to help promote our beautiful city, and people are going to come here and meet the amazing people of Chattanooga and see the energy that we have here. And, you know, what I think is, you know, we're leading the Renaissance, the modern Renaissance. Chattanooga is so alive. And we may not be Nashville. We may not have the huge music venue that they do, but we offer some amazing, amazing things here. So, you know, I commend Lee and the older seniors and the young kids and the mid-range people like me who, you know, we're just all trying to bring our view of the world and the world's view to you. And without viewers, artists are kind of dead in the water. Lee and I did talk about it's very difficult to part with our work. Sometimes that's almost a little embarrassing, or it feels egotistical, but we wouldn't be producing it if we didn't love it and if it didn't come from our heart. So you can call in today if you want to say something about your art or your music, or 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949. And I'd be happy to talk with you. So there's a lot going on in Chattanooga. It is First Friday coming up, and we have, I think it's about 15 galleries all through Chattanooga that open up their doors. You meet the artists. They're serving wine and cheese and crackers. Very festive, fun, relaxed settings to go for free and enjoy the culture of downtown Chattanooga and beyond. Even Reflections Gallery out on Lee Highway is, not sure if they're still a part of First Fridays, but all you have to do is Google First Friday and you will find the information you need. And again, the Chattanooga Workspace has their 5-year anniversary coming up February 4th, which is a Friday. They're going to celebrate 5 years of being, I think it's 5, it could be 50, I'm sorry, but they are celebrating that they've been here, and the community of artists there work together, support one another. It's 3 floors of artists and studios, and then there's a dish to pass downstairs. It's a wonderful venue to check out First Friday if you haven't been attending at all before, because you get a really good spectrum of what's going on in Chattanooga there. So I encourage you to get out and do that and support the opening. So if you just look around at what's happening in Chattanooga, you know, we've been covering the fire, the Art 120 fire that happened on Thanksgiving. And, you know, those people are working hard through their efforts to get funding to get back up on their feet as artists and entrepreneurs and business people. Many lost all their art or all their supplies or nearly all of it. It has been devastating and it's changed people's lives that were there. And there's a lot of tragedy in the world. I understand that. But also to seek to support back to the artists who've been in the community. They had a lot of programs for children. They were reaching out and giving into the community. You know, so them asking to be supported and get back up and running is not a personal gain. It's, you know, we want to get back to serving the community. So, you know, if you Google Art 120 or look on Facebook and find them, you can follow what's going on with them. And next week, we're going to have Hannah Hahn back with me here on the Art Beat of Chattanooga, and we're going to talk a little bit more about all of that and the efforts of these amazing young people that's going on all over Chattanooga. So, you know, I really, you know, the part about falling in love with Chattanooga might get old, but truly we have something special here. The art community in the north where I was prior to this, I won't name the city because, you know, there's probably wonderful groups of artists who do feel supported there. But when I was in the north, I had shows and things happened and I had great experiences. But moving forward, as an artist there became more political, I would say, as I was in it longer. And here, I'm sure that politics exist within art here in Chattanooga, and I know they do. But it's also basically a very open sharing demographic here of artists who encourage one another, and there's just not a lot of jealousy. And some people think the market's flooded. You know, oh, there's too many artists, there's too many tattoo artists, or I don't believe that's really the case. There is a wonderful variety of art and opportunities for the public to choose from in Chattanooga, and different things appeal to different people. My new series that I'm hoping to launch in a gallery as soon as I finish the last piece, Mystique, who is a life-size mermaid done from a human impression. And then from there, I add things or don't. The series is quite intriguing and it's different as it has a purpose. Eventual purpose for that is to work with breast cancer survivors, and I would like to do the paintings with them to help express their pain or their joy or how they feel, if they feel beautiful or not. It's a really unique method that I developed, and it's a little bit scary to launch it in Chattanooga because they're nudes. And there seems to be this general fear of the human body in the arts in a lot of this area, being the Bible Belt. But, you know, there's a new surgence going on here in Chattanooga in the arts in general. And, you know, there's life drawing classes going on that are at Townsend Atelier. There's so much going on there, classes and the store. And you know, when a model is there and we're doing life drawing, some people are doing sculpture, some people are using pastels, some are painting, some are drawing. The whole spectrum of students are there, people who've just begun working with art or drawing or painting. And then, you know, you have professional artists who are simply continuing the study of the human form and that art. It's a really reverent almost situation. And society may think, well, you know, wow, so you've got all these people drawing a nude. Yes, we do. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, the pieces that come out of that, the joy the model gets from seeing the interpretations the artists do, the whole aspect of that part of art in Chattanooga, I feel, you know, can be boosted. So that's not the purpose of the series that I began. It's called Impressions, and it's a universal series. You know, I should have brought a piece to show you today. I'll bring it next week. But if you have breast cancer and you're interested in being a model, email me at the station or text me on Facebook here. And, you know, I would love to work with you and help you express that pain, you know, and eventually I'm planning to have a foundation that will be a nonprofit foundation and cover this expense part of things so that we can elevate the beauty of survivors as you moving forward. Because I talk to a lot of ladies who have gone through this, and it's unimaginable really to go through something like that and be a breast cancer survivor and having gone through, you know, the surgeries and the changes. So to have an ability as an artist to reach in and therapeutically portray something that may lift their life or lift the spirits of another person who's going to go through that. That's kind of my dream, you know, like, you're still beautiful. And many of these women say they don't feel beautiful. They don't want anyone to look at them. Others embrace it and get beautiful tattoos and things. But, you know, that's my dream, really. And I'm just kind of sharing that off the cuff today. It's just something really close to my heart. And I'd like, if you're hearing this and you know someone who may want to be involved with that, to have them contact me here at the station. You know, it'd be my pleasure. So other than that, you know, we're just looking forward to all the events going on in Chattanooga. You've got the Hunter Museum, and that's a continual changing of work there and events. You can be a member there for so inexpensive for the whole year and attend all the events and see all the shows. And then you can go draw in their little notebook that's overlooking the river. There's a little notebook there. So every time I go, I do a little sketch in there so I can say, well, I have art at the Hunter Museum. I mean, heck yeah, someday, right? But there's so many wonderful things in downtown Chattanooga. So there's the ghost tours, and that may not be art related exactly, but Kevin from Improv Chattanooga leads these ghost tours, and I'm looking forward to going on that, you know. And you could arrange First Friday and potentially go on a ghost tour at the same time, you know, so a haunted First Friday type thing. So that'd be a lot of fun. But, you know, I'd like to just talk about what Lee brought up, like the change in his life that came at age 21 because someone took their own art and went out into the woods and did a plein air painting, open air painting. And the part about that that's beautiful is, you know, it's a romantic story. Him and his wife were out hiking, hanging out at a beautiful spot, and another person came in and changed the course of his entire life. And, you know, that's something that's happening all over Chattanooga with artists reaching into communities. I've gone to the Signal School with the Art Gallery and worked with the children there who are challenged, and seen the joy that is on their faces when they produce a painting or a piece of artwork. It's a lot of work. You know, there's a lot of volunteerism going on here, that people are pulling this together and getting supplies and bringing them to these kids, and, you know, trying to keep it all contained and not spilling and, you know, all this stuff. So that's the heart of what goes on here. And the arts isn't just an uppity echelon thing. You know, it's actually a functional part of society where it really reaches lives. You know, it changes lives. It changed mine. And it's funny, when Lee was saying his story, mine is not nearly as romantic, and I don't remember the age I was, but I think it was in high school. I've been drawing my whole life. I mean, I always loved it, and my father and mother have been encouraging me the entire time. But I told one of the teachers, you know, well, I can't even draw a straight line. She says, well, straight lines are boring. And somehow that freed my mind to move on with my own work, which is has a lot of movement. You know, I like a lot of brush strokes and a lot of color, and, you know, I like to feel the paint move when I look at it. So, you know, what you say to someone, it impacts their life, you know, and if you can reach out to a child or even take one day a month to seek out the volunteer services that you can work with in Chattanooga concerning arts, you know, it's so available. And I know that the Bessie Smith Center, Cultural Center, Dion, who is the curator there, she knows everything about volunteerism in Chattanooga. So I'll get her back on the show coming up here pretty soon, and, you know, give you guys more of an opportunity to know exactly how to channel that if you wish to be a part of reaching into lives here in Chattanooga. Also a wonderful museum, and they always have great artwork. I don't know if you've ever gone to the Bessie, but it's quite a life-changing experience. There's a pair of shekels there that I'm pretty sure should be for an elephant, and they were put on human beings, you know, so it's pretty disrupting to see. But there's also some really cool things there, you know, and artwork and all kinds of things. So I'd encourage you to check that out. The list of what to do in Chattanooga doesn't really end. You know, we have so much going on downtown with theater, the Tivoli, and little tiny groups of things. We have free comedy and improv at JJ's on Wednesdays. You know, there's just a lot you can do, and the list goes on and on and on. So I'm really excited about what's going on at Alexian, and I'm excited to hear that Art 120 people are still trying and kicking. And next week, Hannah's going to come on and share all about what she has going on. She did send me an email containing it all, but I want to have Hannah share it because she has the heart for the detail. I can give you a list, but Hannah can share so much more about what's going on with that. And there's a lot of upcoming events that she's in touch with that aren't just related to Art 120. You know, it's a broader spectrum of that. So I hope you can tune in next week for when Hannah's here. So as you can see, we got Marilyn Monroe behind me. That's kind of a funny thing, how I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning one day for who knows what reason and sketched this out. And this is a print, which they are for sale for $36 a piece, which is the age that Marilyn Monroe died. She's kind of an icon for myself as well as so many people. But there's just no end. You know, you can do anything you want. I encourage you, if you have kids that have even a slight interest in art, just give them the positive feedback. And when they're in the supplies, you know, make sure they have some things to work with. It doesn't take much, but, you know, some things to work with, and a sketchbook. That's the key. But, you know, if you do have little ones that are expressing an interest, you know, when they get to about age 10, and you're going to see a drop in their desire or to their own belief in their self to create and be accepted. At that point, there's something where our brain starts to judge our work instead of just like, look, mommy, this needs to go on the fridge. You know, suddenly they're hiding it, or it's not good enough. And as they mature, it's important to work with your children when they get to that stage where you notice they're afraid that their work isn't good enough. All you need to do is pick out the good things and encourage them. And if that child has an artist's heart, they're going to cling to those things, and it's going to continue getting them through until they're mature enough to accept and understand the work that's, you know, coming through their heart, because that's where it comes from. You know, technical skill is very important, and that cannot be passed over. But the heart has to be there, because otherwise it's just technical and you may not get a feeling from it, which is the definition of art. We produce these creative images to provoke a feeling of emotion in another person. So it's a complete symbiotic relationship. We look at it as Lee shared to you and myself, we respond to our own pieces. I mean, my home doesn't feel like my home without my own artwork hanging around. And I also have others' art, but it's the best place to store your artwork. Hang it up. It's safe, you know. So we all have it in our homes if we're artists, and it becomes a part of you. And just like when you were a child, there may have been something in your home, a piece of art that you kind of escaped into in your head. You know, it was such a favorite of yours, or your parents had a piece in there, and it impacts kids, you know. I also encourage you, hang art in your home, you know, so that original art, because it stimulates the brain. You know, art is important. It reflects society. Society reflects art, and having it around your children and providing it for your children can change their lives very, very early on. You know, it's great that at 21, Lee had that. And for myself, it was more really when I went to college and I started painting with oils. Then that was it. I was in love with painting, and I had always been drawn illustrative. But now, once I started painting, that was just my love, you know. So give them the opportunity to explore. Art Creations has classes for kids. They're fantastic. So, you know, I encourage you to check that out. I'm sorry, I'm watching my feed here, and I just saw Hannah's name pop up, so it distracted me. But so, you know, thanks for joining me today and just kind of rambling on about art today. Obviously, I'm an art geek. I love it. The Art Beat of Chattanooga. My website's Vanguard Artistry. It's horribly neglected, but it is there, and it shows a little bit of my work. And my blog is pretty interesting because I write poetry as well. So thanks for joining us. And again, love you guys. Have a great weekend. Go out the first Friday.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
McCoon Williams.